My name is Lauren Mitchell, I'm 34 years old. I built my father a $325,000 house on Cedar Lake so he would never have to end up in a nursing home. I spent 4 years working extra jobs, cutting my expenses, and designing every detail of that home so my father, Gerald Mitchell, could live safely and independently despite his worsening arthritis. 3 weeks ago, I arrived at the house and saw something that made my stomach drop. My father was standing on the porch, trembling, holding the railing tightly while a man with a professional camera and clipboard walked around the property taking pictures. My father wasn't even looking at me, he was staring at the front door like something inside had scared him. I rushed inside and froze again. At the kitchen table sat my brother, Ethan Mitchell, surrounded by legal documents. I had not seen him for 7 years. That moment forced me to remember everything that led us here. Years ago, our family broke apart over our mother's old house. Ethan wanted to sell it and move on, while I wanted to keep it for my father. The argument ended badly, and Ethan left town, cutting contact with us almost completely. From then on, I became the one who stayed, the one who managed everything: my father's health, his home, his appointments, and his daily needs. As my father's arthritis worsened, I noticed how even simple things like opening doors or holding tools were becoming painful for him. That's when I decided to build a completely accessible home for him at Cedar Lake. I worked as a CPA, saved money for years, took freelance clients, sold my car, and slowly built a house designed around his comfort: lever handles, no steps, a custom workshop, and everything made so he could move without struggle. I even put the house in his name because I believed dignity meant ownership, not control. But I never expected that decision would one day be used against us. When Ethan suddenly reappeared, he didn't come alone with apologies, he came with plans. Legal documents, guardianship papers, and even an appraiser were involved. I later discovered strange withdrawals from my father's joint bank account, money taken without clear explanation, all connected back to Ethan. It became clear that he was trying to take control of my father's property and finances, using concern as a disguise. On the day of the housewarming, everything reached its breaking point. Ethan stood in front of family and neighbors, speaking like he was worried about my father's safety, suggesting nursing home care, and slowly convincing others that I was the one overburdening him. For a moment, it felt like the entire room was turning against me. But I had proof. I had bank records, emails, and documentation that showed what was really happening. I brought in an elder law attorney, Janet Collins, who confirmed that my father was fully competent and that any attempt to force guardianship had no legal standing. When the truth came out in front of everyone, the situation changed completely. My father finally stood up for himself. With shaking hands but a clear voice, he rejected the guardianship papers and demanded Ethan remove his name from his account. That was the moment everything shifted, not because of anger, but because of clarity. Later that day, the joint account was closed, Ethan's access was removed, and the financial control attempt ended. Ethan admitted he was struggling financially and had seen the house as a way out, but it was already too late to justify the choices he made. In the weeks that followed, life slowly settled. My father stayed in the lake house I built for him, not as someone being controlled, but as someone living independently with dignity. He joined a woodworking group, made friends in the community, and even returned to carving again, something he had not done in years. Ethan left, and while there is distance between us now, my father chose not to press charges. Instead, he kept a postcard Ethan sent later that simply said, "I'm sorry." Months later, I still visit my father regularly. He spends his mornings by the lake and his evenings in the workshop. His hands still shake, his body is still aging, but his life is his own. Moral of the story. This story teaches that love in a family is not about control, money, or decisions made on someone's behalf, but about respecting their independence and protecting their dignity. Even when someone is aging or unwell, it does not mean they lose their voice or their right to choose. True care means supporting them, not replacing them. It also shows how easily concern can be used as a disguise for manipulation, especially when financial or emotional pressure is involved. That's why it is important to stay alert, ask questions, and never ignore warning signs when something feels wrong. Most importantly, the story reminds us that boundaries are not disrespect, they are protection. Setting them can save relationships, prevent exploitation, and preserve trust. In the end, real love does not take control. It stands beside someone so they can continue living their life with freedom, safety, and respect.